Hey guys, welcome to our 14th episode of the class notes format. This week we did not film so much about the warm-up session, the basic Ziban Shofa practice, the practice of our palm changes, because that really didn't change compared to last week, only in the repetitions we did. So in all those forms, single palm change, snake smooth the body palm, the dragon palm and the tiger palm, we basically only added 2 repetitions per movement, because at the moment everyone in class is quite confident about how to perform those palm changes, and now it's time to bring in the repetitions. So they all get even more confident and very used to those motions. Okay, we later on, in yesterday night's class, went to practice the first 2 of our 64 straight line forms, which is Zhang and Zhang. The first Zhang is where we focused our attention in the last part of the class yesterday. And so this last part is also what we filmed, and it's all about both the application of Zhang, but just as well about the question on how to practice Zhang, or how to practice applications in general. Okay, you will find that you will see some repetitions from last week, where we started to dive into the topic of Zhang, but you will also see that there is new stuff coming in. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this 14th edition of Bagua Zhang class notes, and let's just dive straight into it. Okay, so I will put my face to the left here, make it a little smaller, because it's not really about my face here, it's about what we did in class. Okay, so we started off with the same drill that we've practiced last week. Remember, this is a kind of tuishou, pushing hands drill, and the idea behind a pushing hands drill, especially at the beginning of partner practice, is to warm up the people again with a partner, because maybe at some point when you are teaching Bagua by yourself, or you want to practice with your training partner, and you've practiced something like circle walking before, in general the people are very much into themselves after this kind of practice. Okay, it's internal practice and everybody is just focused on what's going on in my body, what's going on with my joints, how am I moving through space. And the minute you say, okay guys, now it's time for partner practice, it's like, oh my God, I should engage with a different person. Sometimes it comes like a shock, because you were so deep into your own processes that it's hard to make the shift towards partner work. So I like to start with tuishou drills, because it's collaborative, it's never competitive, and it just opens up a nice base for further practicing applications. Okay, so back to the drill. It's the same drill that we did last week. Zhang, opening and pushing forward. Both people do the exact same motion. And last week we didn't really focus on the stance, okay? Because in the first session, when you learn a new drill, it's usually that people are very much hyper aware of what's going on in their upper body, and it's very hard to figure out the coordination just for the arms. So I usually let the lower body out of the equation, at least in the first 1 or 2 sessions. Then it's time to integrate that again. So after being confident and very clear about what to do with the hands and the upper body, the people start to get more attention towards what the legs are actually doing, how the upper and lower body connect in that motion. So here in this class yesterday, the first step is that we try to break this rigid structure and break it open, and to start moving around more freely with the legs. Okay. So you see that coming now. I am now changing from this fixed step pattern to a first very relaxed way of standing and moving. We also move slightly and change angles just a little bit. Okay, so that's, like I said before, it's a progression, and it's the first step in order to feel the connection from the upper and the lower body. So that's the first part of the practice. Again, this is collaborative, and it should be a nice work that you do with your partner. But you will very soon you will find out that people will find out that it doesn't make much sense to step forward with the, let's say, left leg and push forward with the right hand. You feel that your body has a very different connection, and you remember that in Kaijang, in the form, we strike forward with the same side as we move our foot. Okay, so striking forward with the right hand means you also step forward with the right foot. And in this Toisho drill, people will sense that automatically, that it makes more sense to keep the same side forward and not to shift to that other version where you have the opposite leg in front. Okay, so that's the first part. Toisho, collaboratively reviewing the basic concept of Kaijang. Then it was time to review a second concept, or the most important concept of Kaijang, which is to not strike with extending extremities, like in this case the arm, but you want to learn how to move your whole body as one unit and let the mass of your body apply or bump into your partner's body. Okay, so this is basic practice. It's not an application. It's just there to clarify what Kaijang is about. Now, after that, we reviewed the concept of how to use the secondary hand. Okay, and last week we already introduced the following. We can use the secondary hand in order to support the striking hand, and use the secondary hand to push the upper arm into the shoulder joint. So when you push forward with this hand, pushing the arm into the shoulder joint, and you strike forward with the other hand, you have the vector of force of two shoulders moving into one area of the body of your opponent. Okay, so striking with both shoulders or arms at the same time and focusing the force on one point in the on the opponent's body. Okay, this is the pushing part, and then you add the secondary hand, the striking hand, in order to push your opponent away. And this is generally used to disengage from your partner. Okay, I always say partner. Your opponent. You can add this. Okay, I always speak of partner here. So, again, the first concept is to use the secondary hand in order to push your partner away from you. The second idea is to use that secondary hand in order to pull your partner towards you and to kind of rapidly pull your partner into you, so the head of your partner jerks forward just a little bit. It's a very rapid and a very short pull that you do with your left hand. You see that I'm grabbing slightly above the elbow joint here. And at the same time, while you're pulling and jerking your partner forward towards you, you strike with the primary hand. Okay, again, you strike. Usually, you would strike to the collarbone, to the throat, whatever. In practice, please strike just on the chest of your partner. Okay. So that was the short review of the two directions we can use Kaijang. Pushing forward in order to disengage, and pulling in order to engage and close the distance. Now, the next thing we did was a progression in practice. Okay, so last week we only did this stationary with our partner not moving at all. Now we add a little bit of complexity, and we do that by having our partner gently striking towards us. Okay, so it's a gentle strike, nothing serious here, and he's not moving forward. And the only thing that I do here is to open my hand and move forward with Kaijang. Okay, so I am deflecting with my primary hand and striking forward. The idea of deflecting in Bagua is very different from other martial arts. Think of it as really deflecting only and not blocking something that's coming in. You want to engage with the striking arm in a gentle manner and deflect the arm away from your center line just for a few centimeters. That's enough. Okay, so moving forward, piercing forward with your hand, deflecting it just a tiny little bit towards the side before moving in. That's enough for us at this moment. Deflecting, okay? The benefit of deflecting something is that you don't inflict any pain or tension here, because you in Bagua, the general idea is that you want to move like a ninja, to move forward without having your partner feel any pain or extra tension. So you are able to move in more gently before or until you are in a position where you can really inflict some solid damage. That's when you apply force, and that's when pain is highly welcomed. Okay? So for now, because we are still in a distance where we need to engage more, we're not in a distance where we can inflict some proper damage, we want to be silent about moving forward. Okay? The next thing here is that after strike, or while you're striking forward, after you have deflected this arm when it was incoming with your primary hand here, now the secondary hand moves forward, pulls the arm into yourself, and you are continuing the deflecting motion with the secondary hand by pushing it out of your center line even more. Okay, so deflect first, and now I strike forward, and this hand here is responsible for keeping this arm outside of your body's center. Okay, I want to move this hand away from me. So his fist is not arriving at my ribs, it's arriving somewhere on the side of my body. Okay, just imagine your partner has like a knife or anything or any sharp object in his hand, and you want to avoid to be touched by that object by any means. Okay, this is not a defensive motion against a weapon. That's a different story, but nonetheless, try to keep the arm out of your center by using the secondary hand in order to move this hand towards the outside, away from your ribs. Okay, so here is the next progression. Again, same principle, but now we are changing sides, because in Bagua Zhang, we want to practice to apply all our motions on both sides. Okay, so it's a tough thing, it takes more time, but it's very rewarding. Even if you will never fight anyone, okay, that's entirely possible. And the practice of both sides is so healthy, it's fantastic. Okay, try to practice everything on both sides, and your brain will love you a lot. Okay, so what we do here, same thing. Our partner has to strike with changing legs and changing arms, and I also have to change the stance here. Look, I'm striking forward now, boom, and when I arrive, he draws back, strikes with the other hand, and I also have to change the step. Striking, changing, striking, changing, striking, changing, striking, changing, striking. Again, we are increasing complexity here. We make it harder for you. Okay, so it's important that now we don't only use our upper body, we use the lower body in combination with the upper body. And when we have that, then we try to change the position of our feet on purpose. Okay, so it becomes a very agile drill, and it's not easy to do, so take your time with it. All right, so that was the progression of doing this motion with the basic idea of striking forward. Now, Kaijang works in different distances. The first distance that we've practiced was this one here. It is striking and so that your Kai Zhang hits your opponent or strikes towards the face. The next application of Kai Zhang that we practice is that we use that principle of moving our whole body and the mass of our whole body, but we apply it in a closer range for a throw. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Our partner again is striking forward, and we engage with the hand as we did before, deflecting. Now we move forward with this leg here, and now we engage a little closer to the partner, okay? And we do that by pushing our arm into the chest and over the shoulder of our partner, while also turning our hand to the inside. What happens is that when we press this arm to the side and we rotate this arm here, we can step forward with the secondary leg and just tilt our partner over or push our partner over. It's a takedown, okay? Let's see that again. Deflecting, striking. That's the first distance. But now we move closer and move towards the takedown. Generally, this is the first takedown I teach because it shows very, very important concepts for every takedown that we will practice later. The concept here is that we need to break the structure of our opponent before we apply force. So with this circular motion with the arm moving up and in a curve, we not only extend the spine of our opponent, but we also rotate the spine through rotating the neck. This is the point where the structure of my partner's body is broken. And this is where we don't need to do much in order to make him fall. You can make him fall without the step even, but of course adding the foot behind his legs makes it even more efficient because he can't avoid the throw by stepping back anymore. Okay, so step in, rotate upwards in a curve, step forward into the takedown. Now, here's a dangerous position. When I don't break the structure of my opponent first, and I step forward with this secondary leg, this is a very dangerous situation, okay? Because he's still in his strong position, and through stepping forward, I have a second where I'm standing on one foot only. So my base is basically non-existent. I am standing on one leg only, and if he is a little smart about it, he can easily throw me at this point, right? No matter how he does it, by just bumping into me with his shoulder or by using his arm circling it to the outside, he can easily throw me. So he for a short moment, he's in a much better position than I am. So never forget that you only should move in and apply a throwing technique after you have broken the structure of your opponent's body. Then it's not dangerous at all to make the step forward, to narrow your base, or even to stand just on one leg. But if your partner is maintaining a strong structure, it is a very, very stupid action to move into him further. Okay, so always remember, break the structure of your partner's body first. Only then you can risk to stand on one leg for even a second and apply the throw. Okay, so this was yesterday night's class about the applications of Kai Zhang and how to progress in the practice of Kai Zhang. We will continue on this topic next week. I hope you enjoyed this session.